Hello and welcome back to SJ Cartier Limited Convos. And yeah, sorry for the little break I say from the last video, but I've been doing a bit of organisation of the storeroom and stockroom, and I'm trying to kind of make space so my videos I'm able to do in my stockroom, and then you can kind of see also who I am and what I'm about, to be extremely honest. But yeah, today we're going to continue from what we last talked about. Last time it was about culture vultures and how I wasn't aware of the actual term until obviously recently in the last few years. And although I haven't been used to the term, I've actually understood the principle of culture vulturing. Like I actually understand the principle of, as I said, someone like William Shakespeare, one of the most known playwrights ever made, actually never writ his own playwrights, and there were actually some other black men who writ a lot of these playwrights and got no recognition, but obviously William Shakespeare is now known for the most known playwright ever. So yeah, I went into that, and today I'm going to show you a bit of me. So as I say, everything I talk about is coming from my experience. So you may not have the same experience as me, or you may actually have the same experience. And with this one, I'm focusing on not the term culture vultures, but vultures in particular when they are coming for your business, and how you can actually improve other people's businesses and the service for other customers. So the question I asked myself is, how have the vultures tried to attack my business, and what can we do to stop this? So as I said, this is how I feel I've been attacked possibly, and I've spoken about it in little doses before, but I've never showed you actually the flip side of how you can improve other businesses and other services that actually other customers may receive now. So first of all, the products. I say the variety of products. I have seen sometimes when I share a variety of products, and as I say, from this outset, I already knew I was going to sell a variety of products. I had an idea of the products I want to sell, and an idea of the products I'd like to collect and possibly sell as a collection, whether this year, 5 years, or 20 years, because the collection will be very vast by then. So for me, I'm getting things that also obviously interest me. So the products I do see when I'm either at a car booth, looking at auctions, in a charity shop, or online with some of these variety of marketplaces are products that I actually am interested in. And it's not just products I think I can make profits on, although as a business I aim to make a profit. It's products that I particularly have some interest to and would like to make sure that they have their longevity in my life, kids' life and grandchildren's life. And that's whether it's in my family or someone else's family who has now purchased this later on down the line, and now they have a new love for this item. So a lot of items I've seen by the vultures have been imitated by the type of products I am getting. So we hear a lot about FOMO in a lot of the hobbies especially, but we also understand there's a lot of FOMO with films and TV series. Like the fact that people say that it's good makes people believe when they watch it, it is good without having their own opinion. And even before they've watched it, they believe it's good because of someone else's opinion, and they will say, oh, that is good. And it's the same with comic books. A new comic book comes out, oh, this is the new hype. No one knows unless you're a director for a film or producer for a film what comic books are actually going to be good. So in comic books, you always should collect what you like. The same with football cards in the hobby. I see a lot of people saying this rookie is going to be a star, or this player is a star, or this player isn't a star. But in fact, when you are actually in these hobbies, instead of trying to copy and imitate people, you're supposed to look for the products that you find interesting and get to know the hobby and the collection or the film or the song yourself before you have a judgment. So I've seen a lot of my products before I even buy some products, I do check availability and see how many products are actually online prior to purchasing, seeing what sold prices, see what possible sold prices could be and listed prices now. So I do a lot of research sometimes before I'm buying. I do a lot of research before I list, and I do get to see like the variety of products that is online at that moment in time before it is actually either in my possession, either looking to be even bought by me, or has actually been listed and now is on my website. So I've seen people that aren't happy with the culture I come from try to imitate the products I have by actually looking for these items and trying to get them for as cheap as possible, which is fair game and we understand business. But it's not the fact that you take care of these items, it's not the fact that you're getting these items with an aim to obviously, yes, make a profit, but also take care of these items. So for me, getting these items that you have no interest in is no good for the next person who is going to take on this item, because they want to take care of this item in its best condition. So for me, I've seen people try and be vultures and imitate my products and try to undercut my products and try to actually get the products I have for as cheap as much as possible just to undercut my products. So for other people now as collectors, that may be actually good for you, because that means you actually get some of my products for cheaper than you may. Some of them you can't. A lot of them you can't find them cheaper anywhere else. A lot of my products on my website you can't actually find anywhere else anyway. So especially a lot of them found by one shop. So for me, being a vulture has only helped a lot of collectors also to grow with, whether it's with comics, they've got a comic now for cheaper, whether it's with the football cards, they've got it for cheaper, whether it's with an antique, they've got it for cheaper, whether it's like DVDs or CDs, they now have actually got for cheaper. The condition though would vary. Yes, sometimes condition may be better than what I have found, but sometimes, as I say, I take care of my items, I clean, I check everything before I list. So the care for my items is actually there. So I've seen that in being a culture vulture, because I understand, as I say, a lot of this is only because of the culture I have came from and the cultures I am now involving myself in, because I actually am part of this culture. So as I said with the last video about culture vultures, a culture vulture isn't a white man trying to take from a black man, because there's a lot of white people in the culture that have grown in the culture. So when it comes to people like a Central C or these people that have come from a lifestyle I believed, then they are part of those. So people like K Coke, they've come from these kind of hustles and come from a lifestyle of urban lifestyle. So when they're talking urban, they're not sucking any culture from any, they're not being a vulture to the culture just for the money, because that is their life. So that's the way I see comics, that's the way I see antiques and vintage, that's the way I see pre-loved clothes, because as I've always grown up, I've always tried to find clothes that are a bit different, that are vintage or retro styles, that are limited edition, that are just not always found or seen wore on day-to-day life. I've always liked antiques and vintage and pottery and making clay items, or I've just always been that type of guy. Like, I've grown up in my mum's house where we always had ornaments and we'd always have to go shopping for ornaments, sometimes in Chinese shops. So I've been in these places looking at ornaments. I've always been a lover of all variations of music. I always have a variation of music on my playlist. I have always gone to a variety of different music genres. I've been to UB40, I've been to Bassline, I've been to LMA, I've been to bashment, I've been to reggae, I've been to drum and bass, I've been to grime raves, I've been to clashes, I've been to a variety of things. So a lot of these things I sell are part of my life and part of me, whether it's something I knew about before I bought it or not. So I've seen products be imitated, but that, as I say, has been better for some customers because, as I say, if you see the product by me, a quick Google and a quick search of certain other marketplaces that I don't actually sell on, you may find the items cheaper. Dependent on whether the shipping is cheaper or not, you've always got to equivalent shipping prices. You also got to equivalent service, as I say, always ship within 24 hours. So there's positives for other people. Another thing I say that has been a vulture for me and something that I've still maintained. So if you look at my last reel, you will see a quick video of my stock room. That was it with space. You could see everything laid around everywhere to show you how I had things. But if you understand, I had a room of organized mess, if they say. That's what I say to my partner anyway. It's an organised mess because everything is organised in the way I understand. So when people put in an order, for the last 4.5 years, I've been able to offer fast shipping within 24 hours. And not just within 24 hours, I'm shipping this within an hour, within 2 hours, that item is out the door, within 2 hours guaranteed. And 2 hours is like if I'm coming from somewhere, I'm somewhere else and I've got to go and do package it and everything. But within, I'd say, I'd love to check at the percentage of this, and I actually can do this by checking the times of the purchase and looking on the receipts to show the time I actually dispatched it and dropped it at the post office. But I'm mind me my hand on my heart that over 70% of that has come within the first hour, fast shipping. So for me, for 4 years, that is something that I have upheld, and I see that a lot of businesses, when I've been to them, that's something they find hard to uphold, whether they are a bigger business or a smaller business. I've continuously been able to uphold that. I've seen how people now try to offer that same fast shipping service because they realise, as a customer, we all want our items. When our money's been taken, why should it take long for our item to be dispatched? And I've realized like a lot of people will try copy that. I realized a lot of people, I'm gonna go real deep because, as I say, I'm warming into my channel at the moment. I don't think I'm giving you the full strength. So real life, I feel like eBay and even whatnot have started doing 48 track hour because of a business like mine, a little small business. And it may sound far-fetched to a lot of people, but as I'm building a marketplace that is products all for me, and when I realise there's a lot of people that are influencers and are paid to promote certain platforms, they have an opinion regarding where their money comes from, not just their heart and what they do. So when I'm doing my business and offering fast shipping, and people are trying to undercut my prices on certain other platforms, I realised that the only way that my service was beating them was customers realised if they wanted their item quick, just order from me. Even if you've got to pay £1, £2, £5, £10 more, it's worth it because your service knows the item's being shipped fast, it's being tracked because as I said in my videos of how to set up your business, I protect myself with the items being tracked because at worst case scenario, I can always claim back from the service that I'm dispatching by, and at least I know whether the customer got the product or not. And by adding a signature, it also allows me to say, this is the person that signed. We can also follow and track and trace and do some research of our own, not just only leave it to the delivery service. So tracked has been something I've offered, and I believe because of a lot of resellers not doing that and using it as a way to say items have been lost and claiming a lot, and the fact that I over promote, I came off eBay and I over promoted that even on eBay I was offering fast shipping. I over promoted everything's tracked, as I always say, everything is tracked. So this is something that as big businesses or smaller businesses, this is somewhere you have to compete. And I've seen over the time that is a way that they have actually now brought in these rules and these types of methods into not just these big businesses, but within the businesses themselves into their service. And that's better for us as a customer, that's better for us as a seller, because it protects us as a small business, because at least we know the items are tracked. We can follow that, and the customer can also follow that and see what day it's arriving and be able to be at home, so to make sure they're catching the delivery. So for me, that's a positive for other businesses. That's a positive for other buyers, because buyers at least know they can track, as we say, they're able to be at home, and there's no dispute whether the item has been arrived to the address that the customer has asked for it to be arrived to. So it's very helpful, as I've said. So as I said at the beginning, culture vultures can vulture and take your ideas, but as long as you're helping a society as well, and it's also continuing with your business, you can allow the vultures to try vulture, but continue on your wavelength, because customers will also recognize, and also it gives you a boost to recognize you are actually making a change, whether you are a major business or part of an industry plug. Do you understand me? So that's something I've brought in and maintained for my business, that I've seen. Yes, people may say, oh, that's not a culture vulture, but I never added culture. I'm talking about people vulturing your tactics because of the culture you're from. So when you understand that and understand that, yes, people could have been doing this tracked. Yes, people could be offering same day shipping, but a lot of people weren't, and now a lot of people are. Ask yourself why, when, and are you happy for it? Because I can say certainly as a customer I'm happy for it, and of course as a business I've implemented it from the very start of doing my business. Yeah. The next one being vultures is, I was going to go on to okay then. I've kind of gone into everything else, the shipping and the delivery methods, because that was the next two. So a little recap of this little understanding of how someone from a culture can be easily vultured by people that aren't from your culture or don't actually have some interest in the culture that they are actually trying to vulture you from. I've tried to explain to you how my products have been imitated, and although they're imitated, they're not taking care of the products. Although this also allows a lot of other people now to be able to sell their products, so it's good for other businesses. It's good for my business, because other people selling their products also allows me to sell my product. The more products they list and sell, the least of them they're in stock. And then also I believe in the faith that every product I have, there's someone that will have some interest or feel into this, if not now, that when I die and the kids have the items and they're able to look after them. The fast shipping of how people will imitate your business, because this is where I was trying to go from. Not just culture vultures in music, but understanding how you as a small business could have larger businesses or organizations of smaller businesses trying to vulture your tactics, your products, your service, to make out that they are better than you because they're able to get these things at a different price, at a different way, and have it over promoted by more than one. So yes, you could say, oh, you're jealous of that, but I'm not jealous, because I understand I'm not imitating what people do. I'm only building my business around things that I want to do and how I want to build my website and build a service, and that's what I've maintained. So yes, sorry if I've rambled a bit in this one, because I feel like I just wanted to give you another video, and as the culture vulture was the last one, and I never really explained even how it is tough for me as a black business, and how me coming from the culture I come from can be imitated or try to be look smaller or the same as other businesses, although they may not be doing the same as you or come from what you understand. So yeah, I hope you overstand and not just understand where this video was gone. And thank you for joining SJ Cartier Limited Convos today, and I hope to see you again.